funny enough, whenever we do listing videos with agents, almost everyone says, "Oh, I hope I'm not like the worst at this. I hope I don't mess up more than everyone else."
Yes, it's nerve-wracking to have a camera set up, especially when you're not used to it.
Yeah, and it makes you feel dumb. You're just like, you look at it, you had a line, and then it's gone. You're listening to the Pittsburgh Business Podcast. My name's Arthur, and our company is 360 Captures. We're a media production team, and today on our show is Stephanie. Stephanie, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Wess. I am a local realtor here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm part of the RSY team with Berkshire Hathaway, and I am excited to be here.
I wanted to, like we talked, I want to talk to you about today is social media, because I think, we work with a lot of agents, and it's really common to see sort of the same stuff getting posted with the sold signs. And I think you made a great guess for this, because like on your social, you're posting, you're making videos, you're making like, even like, well, you're not on TikTok, like you said, but you're making like little like reel style.
Yes.
What do you, because I know this is a struggle, this is a challenge like a lot of people have, is like being consistent. Like, what do you post? You know, how do you stay consistent with it? Like, how do you do it? Do you sort of like plan it out for a week ahead, or is it just like spur of the moment?
Yeah, I have an idea of what I'm going to post, but it's mostly spur of the moment.
Yeah.
I know, let's say my show, Talk It Up Thursday, is dedicated to new buyers, where I deliver content every Thursday. But for me, if inspiration hits and I have the time to do it, I am going to post it. I think that a lot of us want to have the structure to have a schedule. That's great. But if you are inspired to write something, there's a reason for that. Maybe someone needs to hear that content, and I really trust my gut that I am posting at the right time.
Yeah. So is there like a certain form? Because my guess would be video. It seems like that's what works best for you.
Yes.
Do you do anything else, like maybe written, or like you do photography, right?
Yes. So aside from video, when I'm posting, I'm trying to think, how am I delivering value to the average person that is not, in the real estate world. So that's the most important thing for me. I don't just want to put a pretty image or a pretty caption, but I want a story. So I've been doing for my sold signs, I want people to understand what's the story behind that sold sign. Is it a young couple who has a dog and wants to have a beautiful garden and a half an acre? Or is it that young family that bought their very first home? Or is it a friend of mine that, bought her home, but we had some bumps in the road that we were nervous about not getting through? So I think having a story behind a post, even if it's an inspirational post that has nothing to do with real estate, I think people want to know that person who's posting a little bit more, aside from the glamorous photos of the homes and the cars and the fancy, outfits that we sometimes wear. We want to know, who is that person? How can I relate to them?
Yeah. So that usually, right, that's like, do you make dedicated videos about that, or is it just like going on your story about that?
So what I do, every Thursday I have videos dedicated to new buyers. So this can be from like 3 mistakes that buyers make. Mm-hmm. This can be like question to ask a realtor when it comes to choosing one. Little things that I think the average person needs to think about before calling an agent and saying, let's go look at homes. I see a lot of mistakes that people, want to look at homes, but they're not pre-approved. So that's a big emphasis of mine. Every Thursday, we have dedicated videos that are 3 to 5 minutes max, where I deliver that. And then I'm really big on stories. I want people to know that I am human, and I am not always dolled up, and that I have small kids, and that I make it work.
Yeah, people work with people after all.
Yeah, so, and then I have little tiny, like if there is a fun, like let's say this or that, do you prefer granite counters opposed to quartz? I do that too, most realtors do. But I want people to get to know me and to relate to me, because when they want to possibly buy a home, I want to be top of mind.
Yeah. But again, at the end of the day, right, like whatever you post, it doesn't matter if it's an educational video, whether it's just a story, it's just, the point is to be consistent with it.
Yes.
And just because at the end of the day, be relevant, right?
Yes.
Be in front of your audience.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I know this for myself, right? It's like, if you want to do it right, it's basically a full-time job. Like, you have to
It is.
look at it as a job. You
Yes.
can't just expect results if you're only putting in like
Once
yeah.
and then every blue moon. Yeah. I think that it has to become part of your job. Social media is very relevant right now, especially with, like younger millennials starting to buy their home. And there's like Google, there's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And a lot of the times we think that nobody's watching or nobody's listening to us, but people do.
Yeah.
They'll reach out and say, hey, I saw your video. It was really good, by the way. And I know that person then now could make that connection that I am a realtor and that I am an expert in the field.
Yeah. And you can't expect to post something and then wait for the lead to come in, right? It's
exactly.
Like, it's the long tail of it is,
Yes.
you'll build your audience and then eventually the leads or the contacts will coming in, but you have to start somewhere, even if you have this is another thing too. Like, I see a lot of people, they want to have a huge audience, like they'll post, but then they don't interact with, like, I reply to every comment I get, even if it's just like 3 and there's like 7 people that comment. Like, you want to make sure you work with the audience you have already and not ignore those like fans that already giving
absolutely.
you their attention.
And also, I think it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So you can have like 5,000 followers, but who's interacting with you? Who is actually your target market? Are they not even, are they close in the state? Or so it doesn't matter whether you have like a small following, as long as you're making that relationship and you are replying to them, you are commenting on their stuff, because we don't ever want to feel like, oh, I see all this pretty content, but I mean, is she even looking at my stuff?
Yeah.
Is there a connection or a relationship?
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up on the numbers, like how
Yep.
many followers do I have? What I do for our page is sometimes I'll go into the followers and I'll make people unfollow me. Because if I know they're not, they're not my audience. Because the thing is, if you look at sort of what's nice with Instagram is whenever you post like an IGTV, it can give you the reach and the statistics.
Yes.
And let's say, I think in the last video I posted, even though we have something like north of 600 followers, that video is only shown to like 100 people.
Yeah.
Because organic reach is dropping. But basically what Instagram is doing, right, they'll take a test of your followers and then they'll show it to them and see if they interact. And if it's just either people who are not interested in you or they're just dead accounts and they don't interact, then your content doesn't go out.
From that
point, which is
yeah.
Okay, so something you said, which was quality over quantity as far as followers. Okay, but what if there's I feel like there's a debate about quality versus quantity as far as content.
Yes.
So like we've been talking about kind of like how to make a better video, how to like increase production quality, but then your downside is you're spending more time per piece of content instead of just dumping out a lot of volume.
I feel like the quality aspect is relevant in terms of posting as well. So, I love Gary Vee. Are you familiar with him? Okay, he's like post everywhere. I love Gary Vee, but he delivers great content. Even if he's posting like 20 times a day, it's valuable, but unfortunately, not all of us are Gary Vee. And I think I rather have, let's say, 1 daily good piece of content instead of having 5 that are not relevant. I don't want to be spamming my followers with something that's not valuable. It's not entertaining them. What's the point? They're gonna unfollow me. So I think it's important that we really try to make quality in our posts as well, aside of our videos, and say, okay, how is this valuable to my followers?
Yeah.
Are you just posting something for fun? It could be fun too, but I think at the end of the day, value is where it's at.
Yeah, but then quality doesn't mean perfection.
No.
Right? You don't want to, because I think what a lot of people get caught up on is trying to get the best lighting or the best this and that until they post.
You got to do it.
Because I feel like this is something you do well, right? You'll make your, like, I don't know, do you record on your phone?
I record on my phone and I stumble a lot. So I think that you have to know that no one is perfect and you have to at least try.
Yeah.
And you will get better at video, at posting, at reels, at stories, but you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And people don't like perfection, you know? It's okay if you stumble a little bit. It's okay if you have a little bit of typos, as long as you do it. And
Yeah.
I think that's important.
I think the biggest thing is like I think the reason people want to have the perfect image or the perfect setup or the perfect camera, lighting, whatever, is just it gives them more confidence
Yes.
when they're on camera and that
Yes.
you're not feeling, oh, maybe I don't look right in this lighting or whatever. But at the end of the day, we're our worst critics, right?
Yes.
People watching your videos aren't necessarily looking at how you look.
Yes.
It's kind of what value you're bringing.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, and then because it's nice, like, for example, you've been doing your videos for a while,
Yes.
right? Way before you were an agent, right?
Yep.
And only now did you ask me, oh, well, okay, how can I make this better? How can I
Yes.
increase the quality?
Yes.
Instead of starting with the quality first, and then it's good that you already tried a few things, and then you can look at how can I make it
Absolutely. I think, you just have to start somewhere. And yes, you will not like anything at any job. You know, as a realtor, we're always learning, and eventually you'll get better and you'll start to increase your quality. You'll get more confident once you do it multiple times. And even that I've been doing video for a while, I still stumble.
better? Yeah.
And I just put it out there and hope for the best.
But at the same time, too, I feel like people are looking at the end result.
Yes.
A lot of people who've been doing video or podcasting, whatever, and it looks nice and polished, but they don't realize this is their like third year into doing it. So
Yeah.
they've already figured out little mistakes. And with any video, like we're probably going to edit this
Yes.
a bunch because like we'll either stumble or like
Right.
we'll go on a tangent, but people mess up. Bloopers are kind of part of the process. Funny enough, whenever we do listing videos with agents, almost everyone says, oh, I hope I'm not like the worst at this. I hope I don't mess up more than
Yes,
everyone
it's
else.
nerve-wracking to have a camera set up, especially when you're not used to it.
Yeah, and it makes you
know?
feel dumb. You're just like, you look
Yeah.
at it, you had a line, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Right.
And I also think I do really well when I film by myself. I did a video with our team, and my team leader was recording me, and oh my God, I stumbled so much. I had another of our agents like hold like cue cards for me, and I think it was like, I don't know, like probably 10 takes until we got it. But when I'm alone at my house, I'm pretty good because nobody's watching me.
Yeah. So, okay, that's a good segue because I wanted to, so if we go into the, how do you stay consistent with it as far as creating if we stay on the topic of video, there's plenty of like, maybe not everyone wants to go into video, or
Right.
maybe you're a good writer and you'll write
Right.
blog
Yeah.
posts or, but in terms of video, because I do feel like for now, that's kind of like, I no longer go on Google and type a question. I go on YouTube
Yes,
and get a
yeah.
tutorial in video because it's easier to consume. But to your question of how to create better content at home, so what do you feel? I feel like the biggest thing for people is, like you said, being comfortable.
Right.
Having a setup where you sit comfortably and you don't have to worry about other people
Right.
watching.
Yeah.
How do you, so whenever you do your videos, do you have a certain like nook in your home where like this is where you film, or is it all over the place?
I
usually?
have a tripod in my basement, and it's a blank wall in the back, and then I just shoot it.
Yeah.
I try to find decent lighting, natural light if I could. And then eventually I want to have a little bit of a better setup, I
Yeah.
think, once I have different equipment. But your phone is going to be fine, especially when you're starting out.
Yeah.
Get comfortable with it. It will take you a few takes. You can, okay, you don't like this take, try again. And sometimes what I'm also trying to get better at being consistent, I'm trying to film multiple episodes
At once.
I know all the topics I want to do. I have all of that planned. But sometimes it's about changing my clothes, trying to film, a few episodes. So on Thursday, when I know I need to post, I
Yeah.
don't want to be scrambling. I am a busy mom. I'm a realtor. I'm a wife, and I have, other things to do that are creative. So I want to set myself up for success. And by being consistent and trying to plan at least that part of the video that I know is probably the hardest for me,
Mhm.
to have few episodes done in my phone and record it and just shoot them out on Thursday.
Yeah. So, okay. I think the other thing that I was thinking of too is something that I've done for myself. Like if I know, I think the goal is to make it as convenient as possible to just like be able to push a button and start filming and not like you've seen how long it took us to set this up. And if you have an idea, if you're busy, like you have kids, you don't want to spend 30 minutes getting your setup going and then get your motivation, like your motivation goes away and you're just like, screw this. So I think I always recommend, like if you do build out your setup a little bit better, you get a better camera, you get a better light, a microphone. It's best if you can find a spot where you set it up so that every time you come in, you push a button and it's recording and you don't have to fidget with it, because then the less barriers to content creation.
I agree to having some setup that's a permanent thing in your household. That way you could just come in and then just push a button and then get it over with. Because I feel like I drive off motivation a lot. So motivation is, comes and goes, it's not like a habit. So I'm very good. If I'm motivated, I'm going to do it. But then if I know that I have to set all of this up, then I'm like, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. So I think that's a good point to have a designated space, just like an office per se.
And you can always make it sort of not part of the interior, but like if you want to have a light set up from a certain angle, put it in the corner so it, it's not in, don't make it so it's in the way.
Exactly.
Because you're going to want to move it out because, the kids are stumbling over it. I don't know.
Kids.
Something we started talking about, which was paid versus organic content. Like I said, I mean, organic reach is going down, especially on like Instagram and Facebook. Facebook is like at 2%.
I know. Yeah.
Instagram is a little bit better, but then again, like out of, like we'll post our video and it'll be like some of our best work, and it only is shared to maybe like 20% of our audience, simply because it's supply and demand, right? There's so much content pouring out that Instagram is just going to say, you know what, if you want everyone to see it, there's one feed. Like it's real estate, right? Like digital real estate. Like there's no way to fit all this content into one feed. But what kind of content would you create for just organic, and how is it different from content you would create for paid?
So for organic, I think that once again, we want to tie in to really connecting with our followers or our potential clients. Like connection is key. For paid, I think first of all, you really have to understand the ads for it to be worth it for you to invest the money. Second, you want a call to action. This has to be really valuable. It has to be like a kept secret that you're giving away for free, quote unquote, to your clients. So I see a lot of paid ads that say, want to know how much your home is worth. Is that really a really good call to action? In my opinion, no, it's not, because I think the buyer says, I want to know how much it's worth, but what if we change that to 3 ways you can make your home better under $5,000? So let's say, right now, I work with a lot of buyers, and I know turnkey, clean, kind of modern is where it's at. People are selling homes and they're going, over asking list price. So if we can create the wording in an ad that's gonna tell that seller that's maybe considering putting their house on the market on how they can improve their home aesthetics for less than $5,000, I think that's very enticing, and I would probably download that instead of how much your home is worth.
Yeah. And then again, so whatever you're creating, basically what you're saying, it needs to provide value, because I feel like the last thing you want is to give them something to download, so because the point, if we level here, then the whole point is to get a lead. You're paying for advertising, right? You're trying to
capture their info,
right? But it's really, I feel like it leaves people with bad taste if you give them something just so they can click that download, fill in that form, but at the end they get something really crappy. How do you even build a relationship from that? Like, you already tricked them. It's like fishing. staying on the topic of real estate, right? You can run two types of ads, basically, right?
Yes.
It's your either lead gen or you can run listing ads.
Yes.
To try to sell a house.
Yes.
And those are very different sort of structures to your lead. Like I think what we've talked so far is creating that. That's more of lead gen, right?
Yes.
No listing.
When you're doing providing value and you want someone to download, you're creating their capturing their information so you can follow up.
Yeah.
When you're doing a ad like just a listing, you just want buzz, you want people to see it, and possibly, let's say like an open house.
Yeah.
So they're two separate things.
Right.
And I think that agents need to understand that. You can't just, also do not do the boost if you don't know what you're doing on Facebook.
Yeah, the boost is like the lazy
Yes,
button.
it's lazy. And also as a realtor, you have to make sure that you're not violating any fair housing laws too. Something to keep in mind.
This is something that I've talked to a few people, and they would say, and they're also agents, and they're saying, yeah, I'm trying to run ads, but they're getting rejected.
Yes.
Because they don't realize that because of the Fair Housing Act, right? You can't target by a certain, I feel like, I can't remember all of them, but I think it's like gender, race, I think age sometimes gets blocked. So yeah, if you to get it right, because the better you set up your targeting, right, the less you're gonna pay per lead, and then the quality of your leads are gonna increase.
Yeah, and also, advertising on Facebook and Instagram is not always cheap. So you really have to understand what you're doing for you not to waste your money.
Right, but then I think an important thing to recognize is, even though it might not be as cheap as it used to be,
It's not.
right, but you don't have to spend $1 million to get results. Like you can always, it's a game of trial and error.
Yep,
right?
you will. Try and error.
Because you don't know, like if you think a certain creative or a certain ad will work, but then the market can think differently. Actually, and what you normally do, right? If you, let's say you created a market report or like a buying guide, and the guide is the same, but then you always play with the copy, or you play with the creative. Maybe it's a video, maybe it's a photo, and then you run them together. And what's nice about Facebook is they want you to succeed, right? They want you to get results, because if you get results, you're going to spend more. You're going to spend more money. Exactly. So what's nice is whenever I set up my campaigns, I have like 3 different ads
going,
right, and then there are like, one is a picture, one is like maybe a, what do you call them, the carousel, right? And one's a video, and then Facebook will start spending money against them, and if it sees that, let's say one is performing better, it will spend more money on that and ditch the other ones, because it knows there's no reason to waste your money if this one is performing better. And what's nice about that is, again, you can spend $20 a day and just play with it and see, because it's kind of like even if you spend $10, you still learn a bunch, because you've gone through the process of trying or setting it up. But at the end of the day, it's still cheap. Like you still don't have to, like, how much is a billboard? How much is a TV ad? Like, but then you can be in front of thousands of people, right, for $10 a day. What's the best way for people to, find you?
You can go to my Instagram page, Stephanie Wess Realtor. And then I'll see you there.
Yeah, sweet. Well, thanks for being on a podcast on this pilot episode.
Thank you so much. This is really exciting, and I hope that people find these things helpful and know that social media is not only for real estate. I think any business that you have that you're trying to make a connection, be consistent, show a little bit of imperfection. People will really enjoy that. And I hope this was helpful for everyone.
But I guess the conclusion is it's not as easy. You can't expect results from it if you don't put the effort in.
Yeah, you have to. It takes a while, and be creative, have fun with it. Don't be so serious about it.
Okay, we'll see what we can do with it. I think there's plenty of good stuff.
You think?
I think so.
I hope so.
Right.